this is now resistant to Roundup, so therefore only canola grows, everything else is killed again. Just imagine if you are killing everything, what is it doing to the soil? What is it doing to the soil? The company is saying it's biodegradable. How biodegradable? Because it just goes into the earth. Doesn't do any harm. Well, did anybody look at the ecology? A lot of studies have been done in Quebec on frog population and so forth. But what happened to the earthworms? What happened to the bees, the butterflies, the little birds? And, they're all gone. They're all gone. So we've actually burned the soil. If that's not good enough, by genetic modification, first of all, they've made many crops now, monocultures. You grow the same thing year after year after year, in the same, so that soil depletes the soil again. Then you keep plowing deeper and deeper. So your earth has been burned. And the pollination system, the ecological system, everything has been destroyed. Now the same companies, they say, well, you know, the patent has gone out on that. Other companies can copy the so-called Roundup glyphosate. So we will now have another substance called BT. Most scientists, even entomologists, I ask them, do you know what BT stands for? Some of them say, oh, biotechnology. Wrong. You know, we scientists, we are like the old priests who, instead of talking to people in their lingua franca, they would speak to them only in Latin so that they won't understand. We scientists use these high-fluting technical words and names in Greek and Latin. BT stands for Bacillus thuringiensis, name of a bacteria. This bacteria produces a toxin because in nature, by existing in nature, whenever a living being feels it's under attack, it has some defense mechanism. This bacteria spits out a toxin. So they've taken the gene of this bacteria and they've injected that into the genome of cotton plants. Now, imagine the size of bacteria and compare it to the size of a cotton plant, which is the size of a tree, and fields of it. Now the cotton plant thinks it's bacteria and it's under attack. It's constantly leaching out this toxin. If that wasn't enough, now they're putting the same BT genes into potatoes, into the eggplant, into all vegetables, and into soybean, and everything is BT. BT from the inside and then Roundup from the outside. So that's what's going in the soil. So now I've described the pesticides and the GMOs together, and now they're on their way to make cloned animals for meat. They say they're going to make clone animals. And they can use them for making drugs, whatever, and then you can eat the meat and drink their milk. To cut the long story short, our whole food system is now toxic. The food in Canada has become the most toxic on the whole planet. The reason we don't realize it, because it's producing chronic disease. You don't die immediately. You get cancer. It takes 15 to 20 years longer to develop. You get immune disorders. You get all these other diseases that I described. And when that happens, the same chemical companies come around to treat you with other drugs. They say, oh, all of a sudden diabetes 2 has gone up, so we'll bring you a drug. Your cholesterol has gone up, and they show you the picture of some meats and fats, but also the picture of your grandmother. Because you inherited that from her. What shall I do, kill my grandmother? No company has been able to prove that reducing blood cholesterol extends your life. But yet, these are the blockbuster drugs. The other day, few days ago, Pfizer was fined $2.3 billion in the United States for selling products for unapproved uses. This is no relief. The company, this is part of doing business. They're quite happy to pay $2.3 billion because they made 10. And the government get a cut now of $2.3 billion. When I said some of these things inside Health Canada, they said, don't speak about it. Swine flu, whatever I talked about. And then I said, we're being pressured to pass drugs of questionable safety. We're being pressured to pass and maintain drugs of questionable safety, and the pressure is coming from the Privy Council of Canada. And we wrote letters to Prime Minister Chrétien, Minister Rock, his predecessor, his successor, the Deputy Minister Dodge, you know, he became the Governor of the Bank of Canada for 7 years. Now Alan Rock is the president of Ottawa U, and David Dodge is the president of Queen's University. So they get eminent positions. And that's where the decisions are made. And all of a sudden, in 2004, there was a fight between Paul Martin and Jean Chrétien. Who was going to be a better prime minister? And we scientists in Health Canada are saying we're being pressured to pass drugs of questionable safety, and the pressure is coming from the Privy Council, which means the Prime Minister. So Paul Martin, it was during his time, he wanted to call the election, and it was summertime, good time to fire these people. Fire Shiv Chopra and whoever stands with him. Bang! July of 2004. 5 years later, we're still in court, fighting wrongful dismissal. Millions of dollars, your money, has been spent, and there's nothing you can do. My proposal to you is you have the power. Demand to remove those 5 substances from your food supply, because it's your right to demand, unless under the law the companies remove them. C6 or C10, whether those are passed or not, those are just to cover this whole thing up. We have to fight them. But right now, under existing law, we have proof damage is being done to the health of people, and other countries have banned those products. We must ban them in Canada. Give the opportunity to the companies to prove that it is safe. It's not our job to prove that they're unsafe. So we already are in a situation. Quebec did that for pesticides, Hudson versus Canada, and you succeeded. But you know, Quebec did a wonderful job in that. But Quebec, on the other side, is also doing itself damage.